currently through disaster management and social development doing an assessment and registering all affected individuals so that we can provide the necessary relief. We've got on site the Joburg Property Company, who are the custodians of all parcels of land in the city, and this is city-owned land, so the JPC are the custodians. We've also got the housing department that's going to lead us with the relocation of the affected individuals to a place of safety. We have contacted the MMC for community development, who will make available a facility in the short term while the housing department gets a site ready, erects shacks across the road close to where the Kasene implosion happened. We do have a site available there where we will be able to house the affected individuals, and that's going to take 72 hours to a week. In the meantime, community development will assist through one of their facilities. We also have here social development. They've been contacting various NGOs to assist with disaster relief. There's various types of things that will be required, for instance, food, mattresses, and so on. And so we've got partners that we work with on an ongoing basis, and they're on standby, ready to assist as soon as we've relocated all affected individuals. The biggest lesson out of this is illegal connections are a big liability, not only to the city and its residents, but also to the occupants of those properties that are illegally connected. They are dangerous, and we've lost too many lives. This is something we don't want to see going on. Unfortunately, there are plans to accommodate the people in this area, but unfortunately this happened before we could roll out those plans.
Thanks, Executive Mayor. You know the drill. State your name, your questions directed it, and we'll take them in groups of 3.
Thank you so much. It's Govin from ENCA. Mayor, how many people have been affected by what happened here?
As I said, disaster management is working with social development to register all affected individuals. So far, they've registered 120 households. The number of individuals is yet to be established, and also the number of households is yet to be established. The registration process is still ongoing, so we don't yet know, but we estimate a number of 350 shacks were affected.
Can I continue?
Yes. Mayor, it's Ahmed Kaji here from News of Africa. We've seen incidents like this happening in previous years. Is the government going to be doing anything to ensure that effective housing and efficient housing is provided to the residents of Johannesburg?
Most definitely. I mean, we've talked about our housing backlog a lot. We've got about 480,000 applications now for free housing. We don't have the resources to provide that many houses. We are looking at different options, including serviced stands, which we've started rolling out. One of the first things we did with MMC Mabaso was roll out over 700 service stands in the Zandspruit area, and we'll continue doing that throughout the city. Of course, Joshua is also busy with social housing development, and as and when those become ready, then those beneficiaries can be moved into those as well. Low rentals are available, and we're looking at a township establishment in this area that will be a mixed-use development to cater for social housing as well as normal rentals and various other options. So there are plans in place. Unfortunately, things are catching up with us very quickly because of the backlog that's accumulated over many, many years. But ultimately, you want people in jobs. You want people to be able to take care of their own living arrangements, because government will simply not be able to provide free housing for everybody. We will continue to do the best we can. There is, of course, a big stumbling block as well, and I've challenged both the MMC and the Housing Department for us to call all in the housing development space to an imbizo, if you like, to look at our backlog and how realistically we'll be able to address it. Our people are married to brick and mortar, and unfortunately it's expensive and it's not sustainable. We need to start looking at alternative housing solutions, and we need to change this culture in our environment where people only want a certain type of housing and nothing else. If we can open ourselves up to more modalities, we would be able to cater for more people, even with the little resources that we have.
Okay. Mayor, you've said that the arrangements being made by the Community Development Department will take 72 hours to a week. So what about these people that are on the streets today with their possessions? Where are they going to sleep? What are they going to eat?
The arrangements by social development and disaster management are immediate, and community development as well. It is the housing department that needs to get the site ready where shacks will be erected for the affected individuals. That's not going to happen today. They need 72 hours to a week. In the meantime, time, they will be housed in a community development facility nearby, and they will be provided food and mattresses and whatever else they need through our partners that work with disaster management and social development.
So is the city building an informal settlement?
The city is not building an informal settlement. We have to give people temporary accommodation. We cannot leave them out in the street, so we will give them temporary accommodation. Remember, even when we did the Kasene implosion, we did move people so that we can develop a proper settlement for them where they will then be relocated.
And what are you going to do with Kwa Mai Mai then?
Well, this needs to be demolished, and it needs to be, it needs to be closed off and secured, and we will have engagements. The market is close by. They may decide to move into that space. It's too early to say what we're going to do with it, but the most important thing is it should not be invaded again, so we do need to close it off and make sure that it's secured.
We have questions from other colleagues.
Sorry, Mayor, can you give us more details on where they will be housed this evening? When will they be moved to this particular...
No, thank you very much. We have engaged with MMC for community development. He has made one of the facilities available where we are going to house all the affected households. But in a week's time, the Department of Housing through Joshko will be finalizing the site where we are going to relocate people to stay there, because we are not going to allow them to come back and settle here, because there is a lot of work that still needs to be done here. There is also underground water that also still needs to be investigated, and we need to demolish, this illegal structure that they were settling inside in, so that at least we are able then to make a determination whether we develop the area or we are closing the area off completely. But that will be determined by the outcomes of the investigation on the water, on the underground water that is coming up. Even if you could just walk inside there, so the area is flooded, so you can tell that there's a water that is coming underground. So we need to investigate and establish exactly what is the cause of this. So we cannot allow people to settle and stay inside this premise. So that's why we have to relocate them, so that at least we close off the area and conduct all these studies that we need to conduct.
MMC, I'm going to press you for details on where exactly they will be going from here. Do you have a specific address or a specific venue you can point us to or tell us where they will be going?
Well, I do not have the name of the facility, but it's not far from here. So MMC for Economic Development is making those arrangements. Community development. So unfortunately it's not here, but he is making those arrangements now. So we are going to move them to that facility. But housing is preparing the site on the other side, where we have housed other people who were residing in the building that we demolished not long ago.
Last question from Henry.
No, it's answered. I was going to ask a specific venue.
Hi, Mayor. Nosipokhatebe from Kaya. Mayor, so you said people will be allowed to erect shacks. So what, with the issue then of illegal connections, because obviously if you erect illegally, then you're going to connect illegally. What are you going to do in terms of that plan?
No, we are not erecting illegal shacks. We are putting in temporary structures to house people. Yes. So normally how we do it, we provide interim services, because we in a way we are trying to avoid situations where there are illegal connections that will cause other incidents. So when we put in people in shacks, when we allocate them, we provide interim services.
So there's a difference between an illegally occupied piece of land and a piece of land where the housing department moves people temporarily while preparing something more permanent. And as I've said, we're busy with a township establishment plan in this area. So whatever plans, whatever shacks get erected, it's just a temporary measure so that we don't leave people on the street. We've got a big enough problem of homelessness as it is. And so it's just a temporary measure so that people have a decent place to lay their heads.
Thank you very much, Executive Mayor. Thank you, colleagues. As you have noted, there's a full response from the city of Johannesburg, various departments. We also have councillors from various political parties who are on the ground and interacting with the residents and seeing how various parts of the city, all whether it's the executive, the administration or council itself, can assist the residents here. But the housing department will keep the residents of Johannesburg updated as to the movements here. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. That's Mabin Siabe. He's the spokesperson in the city. city, and quite a few announcements being made there by the mayor. Not only will they house the people who've been displaced here across the road where they had demolished the old building, but they will close down Kwa Mai Mai, and we'll try to listen to some of the people here in this area and speak to them about exactly what the mayor said. Here's one of the residents who was hoping to speak to us. Sir, the mayor's announcing that they'll close Kwa Mai Mai and they won't open the site again. What do you think?
Yeah, sometimes it's good, but I think let's hope that they will organize maybe the perfect shelter, because the tenants, or actually the community, we are in a situation that we are left with nothing. So let's hope that they will come with something that will accommodate us, actually all.
All right, thank you so much. Yep, that's the latest from this fire here at Kwa Mai Mai, and of course we will try to speak to as many residents as possible following those announcements, and it does look like they'll start to move people into that temporary accommodation. It's a community hall that's been set up by the Department of Community Development before the city itself builds temporary emergency accommodation. That's just shacks that they're going to build across the road where the people will be moved into, and then the people who are moved into the shacks across the road will then become part of the city's housing backlog, i.e. they'd go onto a waiting list and they'd live here until they're allocated property by the city. And the mayor saying that Joshco, the Johannesburg social housing company, would be responsible for speeding up the building of social housings to get the people into those structures. So for now, it's back to you.
Thank you very much, Govind Whittles, coming to us from Kwa Mai Mai, the site of a fire early this morning.